Welcome back, everyone. I'm Lyle. He's Dave, and welcome back again to LPD TV, Grid Talk Online. Here, we're gonna have a little conversation again. This time, we're back for round 6.
Yeah.
The
Barcelona,
Yeah.
Catalunya GP.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So another great weekend.
Good weekend. Started out good practicing. Bit of drama on Friday's practice with Brad Binder.
Okay.
He crashed. He set a good time and then crashed twice in 5 minutes on the same turn too.
Okay.
So he lost both his bikes and he was done for the practice, but managed to get into Q2 before he crashed. So that was a bit of drama there.
This is Brad Binder?
Brad Binder on Friday, yeah.
I didn't even know this because what I saw,
yeah.
I watched the sprint and the race.
Yeah,
and
you don't watch the practice like I do.
I'm gonna have to.
So that was a bit of drama.
Excuse me.
And then Marquez didn't make it into Q2. He had to go through Q1.
Okay.
And that's how he ended up in 14th spot.
Right.
You know, so he doesn't qualify well.
Yeah.
Marquez.
Yeah, because even dropping back a spot in the grid there.
Yeah.
This weekend. So.
And he was during the practice 2 where they set who goes into Q1 and Q2. The Marquez brothers were actually riding together to tow each other around to Mark would follow Alex would follow Mark, and they tried to play that follow my leader game to set good times, but it totally backfired.
Didn't work.
It didn't work, and they both ended up in Q1. Q1, yeah, which is they don't want to be in. It's the second qualifying that.
Yeah, that's
the top 2 out of Q1 going to Q2.
Right.
And then there was that and then
I think should we start? We didn't talk about the birthday or anything.
No, we're going to now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you had some notes about the Saturday?
Well, I'm learning with this whole YouTube thing, and I'm not a study of MotoGP like
that was just some technical stuff out the way, but
like you are, man. You
have a birthday boy.
Yeah, well, I'm just making some notes on the side. You've been a study of this sport forever. I'm kind of just getting back into it in the last couple of years, but so I made some notes, and yeah, it's Pedro Acosta's 20th birthday
yesterday.
Yeah,
Saturday. This is Sunday.
So that's a notable happy birthday, Pedro.
Yeah, no longer the fastest teenager. Now he's the fastest 20 something. Well, he's not he did have that fastest teenager, but he hasn't got it anymore. So
yeah.
That's game over.
And then we were also talking a little bit about so it's his 20th birthday, but then 20 years ago was when Aleix Espargaro
got into
was just starting
into world championship racing. Yeah.
So and another note with him, he announced his retirement this weekend at the Catalan GP. So I'm sure a pretty big roller coaster weekend for him because
emotional. Yeah. Emotional for him. Anyone that retires, it's an emotional decision. He's got the rest of the season to go, but next year he's out.
Yeah. And this is his home. I think
home GP.
Home GP. Yeah. So
and then the sprint. The sprint was an absolute exciting, full on again.
Yeah.
Panic.
Lots of cool stuff.
Stuff happened.
Lots of drama.
Yeah. What did you want to mention about that?
Well, just I have in my notes here that Aleix had set an all-time lap record at his home track, but then you had mentioned to me earlier that
Fabio Di Gianantonio.
Yeah, there we go. I have a hard time.
I'm not going to say that again.
With the name.
He's got the new lap record.
Yeah.
Overall lap record.
So he only held it for a short time, and then Fabio.
On a Ducati.
Fabio took it.
Yeah.
So then, so I guess we'll go into the sprint from there.
Go into the sprints, yeah.
So lots of drama.
Yeah. Started out like right out the gate, they were dicing with each other, passing.
Yep.
Yeah, and who made it to the lead, which is like
Pedro. I put in my notes here that he almost crashed into Raul Fernandez, which wow, like he was having quite an amazing weekend as well with Trackhouse. But he almost crashed into him, and then Raul Fernandez crashes from miles in front. I don't know what happened there, but
Raul took off, and like within like it wasn't probably half a second, but it was probably about a quarter of a second lead.
Yeah,
crashes out
just a few laps in, like
two or three laps in, crashes out the lead, and then the next guy, takes over.
Yeah, and this is where you were saying about Brad Binder.
Yeah,
like wow, I didn't know he had crashed both his bikes.
Yeah, on the Friday, because
he was right there to take.
He was good on the bikes, but he just something happened in turn 2 on Friday that just didn't make sense. So I don't know what happened, but he just. But it didn't affect his performance on Saturday.
For the sprint, yeah.
For the sprint, yeah.
Because he was right there to take Raul's place, leading the race in the sprint when Raul crashed out, and then how many?
And then a lap and a half later, Binder crashes out.
Yeah, it's like
so go ahead, next guy in line.
Yeah, it was kind of wow.
Meanwhile, Marquez is climbed right up from 14th spot. Like
I think
to like six
spots or something.
And then another guy crashed.
Yeah,
5.
Yeah,
made it to 5.
And who was that other guy? That was Pecco.
Well, Pecco.
Yeah, it was like wow.
Bagnaia crashed out into the lead. So we had 3 leaders.
Yeah.
3 crashed out.
Yeah.
And that leaves Aleix Espargaro.
Yeah. Marc Marquez.
Marquez
coming up the pack.
He's coming up.
Yeah.
Jorge Martin was behind Aleix.
Yep.
And
Pedro at the back there with the birthday boy picking up the last spot on the podium for the sprint, right?
That
was for the sprint.
It was Pedro Acosta.
Yeah,
he took the last spot.
So Aleix, Marc Marquez, and Pedro for the
Costa,
third.
Yeah, for the
podium on the sprint.
Yeah.
So that's correct. That's what I got here. But so a little conversation about Marc Marquez. Like, if you talk about the last 2 sprints and the last 2 races and the amount of spots he's made up, we're talking 45 places.
Yeah. Between 2 races and 2 sprints, he's actually overtaken 45 spots.
Yeah.
That's just that's mind blowing. He's good at managing his tires. That's experience.
Yeah.
That's the experience right there.
Yeah.
Like he chooses his own tire. Like we saw that today because this is Sunday, the race.
Just watching the race.
He chose his own tire for the race, and it was the right tire.
Yeah.
Again, the right rear tire.
Yeah.
He's that's experience coming through.
Exactly.
Definitely, and he's a good tire manager as well. And this race, you had to manage the tires.
Yeah.
Because such a crappy, grip level on the track.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and So
he started 14th again, and only got up to 10th this time.
Right.
On the Sunday race. Okay. Today's race.
Yeah.
So everyone got off to a decent start. I think it was Maverick got pushed out, did he? Was it Maverick Vinales got pushed off a little bit?
Yeah, he almost lost his off the paint there. He almost got sideways.
Yeah, and so they got off pretty good, and then it was a good race today, but not as exciting as the sprint.
Yeah, I agree. The sprint was full of drama.
Yeah,
people crashing out everywhere.
Yeah,
and Marquez coming from 14th.
Yeah, Marquez started to overtake people. Bastianini had a rough race. He ignored a couple of long lap penalties. For irresponsible riding.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know about that. Like, I think he's screwed his chances with the team.
Yeah, if you were to ask me, I'd say because of today.
Yeah,
I think he gets the hook.
Yeah, no, I don't know what happened to him today. He just lost concentration, maybe focus. He just didn't. He bashed into a couple of people. That's why I got the irresponsible riding.
Right.
And two long lap penalties.
Laps. Yeah.
And he didn't. It was not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, not good at all. Where are we at here?
So
Marc Marquez now. We'll go back to him.
He comes up. He starts to come up the
grid, and like 7 laps left, he passes Raul Fernandez. And slowly just starts to like gain ground.
Yeah. Meantime, the guys that took off, Jorge Martin and Pecco Bagnaia,
they were miles
took off.
Yeah, they were gone
from about, I would say, lap 5. They took off.
Yeah,
and no one could keep up with them.
It took a little while even for Pecco to catch.
But I was mentioning to you, I was so nervous because it was such a low grip track. And they were taking a lot of risk, like
getting that far
ahead, and that fast.
Yeah, trying to create a gap.
Yeah, and they did, and they took off, and Aleix Espargaro was the next guy right there.
Yeah,
and Brad Binder, he ended up crashing out, and that's what got Marquez a bit more up the front.
Yeah.
And then Marquez, he chose the soft rear, chose his own tire, and he just used it really, really good. And he started overtaking a couple more people.
Yeah.
And then he's right behind Aleix Espargaro.
And that was a battle, a duel right to
They battled for a couple of laps, and I felt bad for Aleix Espargaro because I was kind of rooting for him because of his retirement thing and one more trophy, that type of thing. But Marquez overtook him. It was a good overtake.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about when I was saying like what a roller coaster for Aleix, because setting the fastest lap of the track of all time.
Yeah.
And then winning the sprint.
Yeah.
And then being on the podium in the race Sunday to all of a sudden now having Marquez pass him, and now he's demoted down to 4th off the podium.
Yeah.
What a heartbreaker for him.
Yeah, it was. But
overall,
that's racing.
A great weekend for him, I think.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
Pedro Acosta.
Yeah.
Birthday boy.
He crashes.
Yeah.
Again, another big mistake of the season.
Yeah.
And then gets back on the bike and starts overtaking people at the back.
How does that happen? Like, this guy is so good, man.
Well, he's made a mistake, and he's. This is what's going to happen to Pedro Acosta. He's either going to carry on making mistakes or finding the limit of the bike, or he's going to get it really, really a lot quicker.
Right.
And I think all the good riders go through this. Like, everyone goes through. They start to push, and then they start to find out where they crash. Marquez was one of the biggest crashes.
Right.
One year he crashed like 30 times.
Yeah.
In the championship season.
Yeah.
Learning the the limits of the Honda.
That many times?
Yep.
Holy cow. I didn't realize it was that many.
I'm going back now before the COVID or pandemic. But yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Pedro's right there.
So he's crashing now. So it means that he wants to learn the bike and wants to push the limits.
Yeah.
On the bike.
No, it's freaking fabulous to see, man. Because I can't see KTM letting him go anywhere. They're going to hang on to him for a long time to come because he's got the talent for sure.
Yeah.
And then what do I got here? Fabio Quartararo in 12th place was the highest grid place finisher for any of the Japanese bikes. Yeah,
he's Fabio Quartararo. He's definitely the best Japanese bike rider. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got. No wonder they want to keep him.
Yeah.
And it's good that he's not crashed. He crashed in Le Mans, but I really don't like to see him crash. Like,
it's too bad he did.
It's too bad.
Yeah, he was having a good weekend, I think, until that happened. So you're saying now that by next weekend, we're going to know what's going on the grid.
Yeah,
here.
next weekend is Ducati's home GP. It's Mugello.
Yeah.
We're gonna know most of the answers to the questions we have, like about 2025 season.
Who's going where?
I still think Ducati are gonna sign Jorge Martin to be with Pecco Bagnaia for 2025.
Last weekend I was all about it. I was with you on that boat.
I can't even look at you right now because I might be selling my bike.
I think I said last weekend in our little, our whatever you want to call this, our podcast, that I said the longer they leave it, that the more chances that Marquez has of like proving his point. Like, hey, I'm here too, man. I need that seat. And again, with the race today, it just proves my point that coming again from 14th and ending up on the podium.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. Jorge deserves that seat, but Marquez is definitely making a statement.
He's using every bit of experience he has, and he's using it like properly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, big decision for Ducati.
They've got to pick Jorge Martin.
And the sooner they pick, I think the better.
Then once they make that decision, then I think after Aleix Espargaro announced his retirement on Saturday, that bike's seat is open for Aprilia.
Right.
That could be an option for Marquez if he doesn't get the Ducati ride.
Right.
We don't know if Pramac are going to stick with Ducati bikes. We don't know if they're going to choose Yamaha. Like that's what I'm hearing on the chatter. They're looking at Yamaha as their Pramac team,
and even VR46.
VR46 is thinking of changing manufacturer from Ducati. So tons of questions. All should be answered next weekend at Mugello. It better be, because I just can't bear it anymore.
Do you got it?
I want to bang on the door of Ducati.
So let's do some just hypothetical picks. You got you're picking Jorge to go to the factory team.
Yeah, definitely.
So who's
all in.
Who's going to Aprilia to fill
Alicia Espargaro? I just think if Marquez doesn't get the factory ride, because that's what he wants, I'm sure it is.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be the most logical place for I would think he would. That bike's a good bike.
Yeah.
And it's a V4 as well.
Yeah.
And it's the V4. They've basically copied the angle of the Ducati V4. So it's a good bike. And we know what he's like on bikes that handle good.
Yeah.
He's clever with the way he manages his bike. So that makes sense to me.
And so now
I don't know about Enea Bastianini, because that's what you're going to ask me. It was disappointing. His effort today didn't make sense. It seemed to lose his focus. It wasn't a good weekend for Enea Bastianini.
Yeah, he had some poor choices.
It's the focus thing. And a team manager, team principals don't want to see that. They want to see complete dedication.
Right.
I think the other Jorge's got that, and Pecco Bagnaia has got a contract for next year anyway.
Right.
So they're the two best guys to be on Ducati.
So what happens if they do, by outside chance, pick Marquez to go to the factory team? Where does that leave Jorge? Does he go to Aprilia?
I think the Aprilia bike is a brilliant bike, and that would be the logical place to go.
Right.
Yeah.
You think that's the next spot on the grid?
I think after no one was expecting the announcement from Espargaro.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of that's definitely going to have an effect.
Yeah, for sure. On where some people are going.
Yeah. And of course the manufacturers, that's, I'm kind of a bit confused about them thinking about, going to a Japanese bike, especially the Pramac team who's Italian.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm confused by it.
Yeah.
But I'm almost thinking maybe they might be using that as part of a tactic, I guess, to get Jorge in on the factory team. But I don't know if that makes sense either.
You know, yeah.
I don't understand why they would be. I don't know. I
Yeah.
can see why
Big
VR46
questions.
would be talking about it because Rossi's ties with Yamaha for so many years riding their factory bikes that I can see that possibly happening because they only have so much money and bikes to give teams. So I don't know. It's a little bit, but a little bit strange. But I guess we'll find some answers next week. You're saying, eh?
Yeah. We should do.
So Mugello.
Mugello. I love Mugello. It's an amazing, scary track.
Right.
You know, long, super long straight with that's not quite straight.
Yeah.
Marcus actually rides well there.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't think off the top of my head what the track is like right off the top of my head.
I want to say a race to watch if you can watch any of the old races is Mugello 2019.
Okay.
And that was Andrea Dovizioso.
Yeah.
Marquez was Dyson.
Battling it out.
Was battling it out. Yeah, that's a good race to watch. And that's at Mugello, Yeah, that's a good one. 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Formula One, let's jump over there. And it's a Formula One weekend. They were in Monaco this weekend.
Yeah.
And what...
they were in Monaco.
That was basically... it
was a bit of a boring race, except the first lap with those couple of crashes. There was a little crash, a medium crash, and a big crash, all in lap one.
I thought it was a pretty boring race. I hate to say this, it was to me one of the most boringest races I've seen in a long time in Formula One.
Except lap one was the drama,
and I'm a huge Formula One fan. But
Monaco is a track you can't. It's almost like a PR campaign for Formula One. Like it's glamorous. It's
but it's a street circuit, man. It's a classic.
There's the dogs. Hey guys, someone let the dogs out. Who let the dogs out? Hey, Skiff.
This way. How are you? Good.
Yeah. Okay. Now the dogs have gone in front of the fire. We're hiding from the rain. That's what we're doing today. So they were my dogs. Patch and Skip.
So the Formula One now. Let's jump over to the Formula One and Monaco. They're racing in Monaco this weekend.
Yeah, today.
And
started out a little rough for a couple of drivers. There was a small crash, a medium crash, and a big crash. It was the only kind of drama that happened. And then after they fixed the track or the steel barrier, then it was basically
because they had a stoppage for quite a while.
Stopped it for the half an hour to fix one of the barriers. Well, the biggest accidents was Hulkenberg.
Right.
Was behind Magnussen.
Yeah.
Was behind Sergio Perez.
Magnussen just got past Hulkenberg.
Yeah, and they were going up towards Casino,
trying to overtake Perez.
And then he kind of put his car in it looked like a bit of a dumb position if you look back at the replay.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a one car line through Casino.
It's like a piece of pie. And the line he was taking just slowly disappeared.
It was disappearing when he got there. So
right.
So what happened was Perez was thinking, surely he's not going to put his car there because I'm going straight, and it's like on an angle.
Right.
He didn't.
He didn't back out of it.
Didn't back out of it. Spun Perez around. He hit the barrier really hard. Hulkenberg tried to squeeze by.
Almost.
Back of the Perez's car took Hulkenberg out. Everything spun around. Wheels were, everything came, not one bit of that Red Bull was not damaged. Everything, it was a complete write-off.
It was a mess, the whole thing, So.
That was the big accident.
Right.
And then kind of a weird Alpine, is it that the team, the Alpine team?
Alpine, yeah.
their drivers got into it. Gasly
and
Ocon. Ocon cut Gasly off,
and that's
just before the tunnel. That was the medium accident.
And that's nothing new for those two. They've been dicing since they both joined that team. And they're both French drivers, driving for a French team.
French team, yeah.
And they, kind of...
Well, Ocon's in hot water. He's in major hot water. He got a 5 grid, I think, penalty for that.
Yeah.
That maneuver. And the team principal is already saying on French media he's in trouble.
It was a dumb move.
Another dumb move.
Yeah. And then the small crash?
The small crash was when... I think it was Lance Stroll rubbed up against Oscar Piastri. How do you spell his name?
Yeah, Piastri.
And Piastri has these veins on the floor of the Formula 1 car for downforce, like one of the downforce veins.
Yeah.
And it slit. It just took off.
Yeah.
Like the perfect kind of like scoop of tire out of Stroll's rear tire.
I'm just trying to think though.
And he had a puncture and he had to come in and get him, and that was the little accident.
Yeah.
Piastri continued.
Was that Piastri though?
Yeah, Piastri. Yeah, the McLaren.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, okay. It was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was Ferrari, McLaren.
Right. So they were going by him on a lap or something? Lap and Stroll?
No, this was at the beginning when they were all fighting for position.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I missed the beginning.
Yeah.
I caught on to the race when they were already stopped. Was when I missed the first couple of laps.
Yeah.
So that makes sense now then.
So and then after that, it was just a bit of a parade.
Yeah.
Because Monaco, if you're in front, it's very hard to get you out the way unless you have a problem.
Yeah.
Some drivers were hitting the wall a little bit, but they've made the walls a bit flexible now. They used to be like solid steel posts.
Yeah.
But now I've noticed, through Impel and Rasgas and through the stadium area in front of the pits, some of the barriers were actually flexing.
There is some give.
I presume it was on purpose.
Right.
It made sense.
Right.
You could squeeze up against it, it would move and then pop back again.
Yeah.
Out to slow motion. It would look like that.
Just some notes in my head. I didn't put anything down for the Formula 1 race, but just that what's sticking out in my brain is immediately Senna 30 years. So McLaren had their special livery, on their cars this year, and their drivers were wearing their special racing suits.
Yeah, well, the big Senna weekend was last weekend, Imola 2 weeks ago. That was the big Senna weekend.
Yeah. So
they carried a few things. Of the drivers, carried a few like the McLaren team because he drove from McLaren, right?
And because he had such a storied history.
So it looks like that some teams or drivers or whatever are doing their own tribute to Senna.
Yeah.
Because in 94 it would have been
30 years.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
He lost his life at Imola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else coming to your mind?
Well, the Indy 500 was today. We were watching a bit of it. It got rain delayed.
Big time. Yeah.
I used to watch the Indy 500, but I've kind of fell out of love with it a bit, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I've got so much going on with the rest of motorsport that I watch.
Yeah.
I
pretty much always just stuck with the Monaco race. I haven't watched IndyCar in years. Not that it's not a good race; it's a great race. I just I'm a Formula 1 guy, so
it's only so much I can follow. My number one's MotoGP.
Yeah,
always has been. Since I started my hobby. When I was a teenager on bikes.
Yeah.
I used to watch Formula 1. When Muddy Walker was commentating with James Hunt in the 70s. That was when I was a kid. Right. I was about 12, 13.
Yeah.
14. Nicky Lauda.
Yeah.
James Hunt.
Okay.
There was a movie. They made a movie. It's worth watching.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But that's about it, really. Only so much I can watch. I'd like to watch World Superbike, but even that is
tough to pack in.
Tough to pack in. Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
I know you were going to watch World Superbike.
World Superbike.
Maybe you can be our World Superbike correspondent.
I'm gonna try, but it's like you say, man. I live already a busy life. I work. My job, I'm like, I do lots of hours in a day, and by the time I come home at night, I don't always want to. You know, I sometimes just.
I thought you were a big actor. I thought you.
No, I'm not even going to put this whole segment up, man. I'm going to just scrap the whole segment.
No, don't scrap it. Don't scrap it. He's going to be an actor.
Yeah, someday, maybe.
He's acting right now.
Yeah.
He's acting right now.
Oh.
See, he's got nothing.
Yeah. No, it's... there's times...
Still learning to be an actor.
There's times where I don't have it in me to analyze and try and keep it all in my head. And,
yeah. It's a lot of information.
Yeah, but not only that. I mean, I was away from bikes 30 years, 25 years. I just in the last couple of years started to get back into it again. I remember in elementary school and high school, I used to watch MotoGP and Formula One all the time on the weekends. They were a huge passion of mine. When I was in high school, I started getting into bikes. I bought a couple, went through a few. I actually went and took a racing school on a weekend. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go racing. So I moved to a city, to Calgary, where there was a track at the time at Race City. Because I grew up in Saskatchewan, no tracks around. Closest track was either Calgary or Gimli, Manitoba, I think, the other direction, which was an old airport converted into a track. And yeah, so I moved to Calgary to go racing, and then that was basically when I moved out of my parents' home and started to realize, oh man, I can't afford this. It's an expensive sport.
Yeah.
And I got rid of my bike, and I got out of bikes, was gone till a couple of years ago. I was working on a show on the island, and a few of the guys were, they were all getting together to go for a ride on the weekend. They said, hey, come on out. Let's go join us for a ride. I'm like, yeah, man.
You work in the movie business now, though. Like,
yeah.
So, but your passion is back to motorcycles again.
Absolutely, man. I just, I love bikes. Yeah.
I love bikes too.
All kinds. So that's one of my true passions. I've always wanted to be a racer. 2-wheel, 4-wheel, didn't matter. I just love to go fast.
Okay.
But so anyhow, I don't even know why I got into all that brief history, but give our viewers some background on me. Yeah. Tell me a bit about you, Dave.
Oh, growing up in Liverpool, in the UK, all my generation, bikes are so popular in the UK. When even before I was born, after World War II, everything was recovering. Bikes were a big deal,
right?
Cheap on gas, cheap to run. When I was a kid, I got me and all my friends couldn't wait to get a bike license. The minute that we could get a bike license or a driving license, we got our driving license. And parents didn't buy us anything though. We had to buy all our stuff ourselves. So definitely no car involved. So me and all my friends all got bikes.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a car until I was like 21.
Wow.
Approaching 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was when I finished my apprenticeship.
Right.
And was earning some decent money.
Right.
So that, bikes for me has been a big part of my life. And, hobby, just the hobby and the fun aspect when you're young,
Yeah.
I just can't give it up.
And it just turns into a passion when it's something you love. You just, you surround yourself with
definitely. It's something that, and a lot of my friends are like that, like still, back in the UK. I came here when I was in 1990 to British Columbia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then I brought my bike from Liverpool to Canada.
Okay.
And I'll talk about it again, but it was a bike that I built when I was 19.
Yeah.
Suzuki 1000.
Oh.
GS 1000, and
nice.
Yeah, built a turbo charged engine for it.
Big bike.
Yeah.
1000.
Yeah, I was 19 when I built that bike, and
wow.
it's over there. So
Right.
we'll get to see it sometime.
Well, we'll pull it
Dig it
out.
out.
We'll throw it in front here. We'll yeah.
That's about it, really. In the short,
Yeah.
Reader's Digest version.
Thumbnail sketch.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, thanks everyone, you guys. You got a bit of a brief history here on each of us. Brief anyhow, but lots more to dive into on that.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your viewership. Feel free to please subscribe. Click the button.
Did you want to thank your sunglasses people or anything like that?
Yeah. Lens are us. Got to give them a shout out. We love you.
So you got your sunglasses. What else have you got?
Yeah.
What else? You know,
Sasso Moda. You ever need to go get?
You're selling us.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, I think it was last episode. There's times I'm not so keen on asking.
He's just a terrible salesman. Let's just say it. Like now, he's just like, you got to work on that sales pitch.
Asking my subscribers to hit the button, please hit the button, and I'll get into it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I just can't wait for you to get into it. You know.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Come back and join us again next week for Grid Talk Online, and we're going to talk about Mugello.
Oh, Mugello, can't wait.
Yeah.
Next week. Mugello. 6 days away.
Yep.
You bet.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Bye now.
Bye now.